What up, what up? I'm back at it again. Before I get into the video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. I'm almost to 2,000 subscribers. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about the broken bird syndrome.
What is that?
Well, it is this theory or syndrome, if you will, where like you're kind of always attracted to the same types of people. You're always attracted to people who you have to like rescue or save or help in some way, in like a romantic setting usually. And so yeah, like it was a term coined to describe this sort of relationship where you kind of enter into this like codependent relationship where it's like an over reliance or over dependence on a person to either feel needed or to need someone to help you or to rescue you or to save you. And the way I understand it is that if you are constantly in this position where you like being the rescuer, the fixer, the saver, or like being rescued, fixed, saved, it's usually a call from your own subconscious mind to the fact that there are certain parts in you that need to be fixed and rescued and saved and healed and paid attention to and given love and grace. You know, our subconscious mind does not speak language in the same way that we understand it. It takes a different kind of language. It's like the language of like memory, emotion, and images. So the way to actually speak to your subconscious mind is by using images and emotion, really cultivating a relationship with yourself on a daily, weekly, monthly basis where you set aside time for yourself, whether that's to journal and talk about certain experiences and things that went wrong or what you think you needed or could need in the future, and cultivate ways to get that in the future. So I wanted to like talk about an experience that I had as a younger guy and eventually talk about like how this relates to bi pan people. Yeah, I remember like growing up, like especially in middle school, and like being attracted to girls and wanting to rescue them. And that was always like anytime I liked the girl and had a fantasy about her, it was me in this sort of like heroic rescuer, saver sort of a role and position. And I kind of like laugh about it now because in a lot of ways it was quite innocent, and also it was a product of what we see in the media all of the time. The hero is the guy that gets the girl and saves her and all of this stuff that is really you know, misogyny. It's benevolent misogyny. It's the idea of like this like nice guy who helps women and has to always save them. And so yeah, I look back on that and I'm just like, that's just like so funny and like kind of like innocent in certain ways, but I definitely interpret that now as certainly like a call from my subconscious mind, because my teenage years were some really turbulent times where I had a lot of work to do, and I could have definitely benefited from learning about how to actually speak to the subconscious mind, how to actually feel protected in the ways that I wanted to protect other people, and how to feel rescued and taken care of and paid attention to in the ways that I wanted to give to other people. Now this might ruffle some feathers, but I still kind of see this play out with like certain bi and pan people, where like for maybe like if it's like a bi pan man and he's attracted to women, a lot of his attraction might be about playing the role of this like masculine saver, benevolent patriarch, and that's something to look at. And I also remember when I was younger how like before I started doing the work, I think it was hard for me to imagine myself with a guy because I was like, oh, I don't want him to rescue me. And not because of like not because like there wasn't attraction there, but it was like, oh, like I don't want to be like rescued, so like if like I can't be with a guy because one of us has to be the rescuer and one of us has to be the saver or whatever. On top of that, there was also like this like kind of jealousy even toward guys who were maybe like who fit the like masculine mold, ideal mold of what it is to be a boy or man in ways that I didn't or couldn't. There was like this like animosity or jealousy there because I felt like I didn't fit, I didn't live up to those roles in that way, in those ways that this other guy did. So once I started to do the work on that stuff and comparison and all of that, like what I'm trying to say is behind the jealousy, behind the animosity was attraction. So I don't know if that's gonna resonate for anybody, but I just wanted to say that. Also, I noticed that like those dynamics don't just present themselves in like with BIPOC men pursuing women, they can also show up if you're also like pursuing men or talking to a man, where you are drawn to people who need constant validation, who need to be reassured that their insecurities are not all they are all the time. And so I'm not saying that you should just cut these people off. They're awful people if you constantly need reassurance. What I am saying is that we want to aim for healthy interdependence, and that basically means that everybody is able to meet their own needs, and also they're able to meet other people's needs. Like, it's both. It's not just like I am the person that's constantly giving you validation over your thoughts, over your appearance, over blah, blah, blah. And it's not like I'm never giving you validation on your thoughts, your appearance, etc. So it's like you want to get into this place where you feel like you can fill your own cup and you can ask other people to fill your cup too. And there's no like resistance toward doing either of those, and you're actually quite good at doing both of those, asking people for your needs and giving yourself your needs. So I just kind of wanted to say all of that. And I don't know, like I wonder how y'all will feel about this, and like if this resonates for anybody. What I will say is that I do notice like a lot of people in psychology, especially white people, kind of come from this place of like hyper independence, which is very like capitalistic and very white and Western, and it does ignore like how certain communities and certain cultures do have a way of doing things, do have a way of thinking about things in community. And I don't know if y'all realize this, but like we've been in like a loneliness like sort of like pandemic for like the last couple years. Even before the pandemic, like tons of people feel extremely lonely in our society and in our culture. And I think that part of it is this idea of like hyper independence, the nuclear family, capitalism, and not knowing how to like be vulnerable, and not knowing how to find people who it's safe to be vulnerable around and with. So I kind of wanted to say that because, you know, I'm a critique psychology. Even though we talk about mental wellness on the channel, I'm definitely going to critique psychology. It's definitely not all that it's cracked up to be. I kind of want to hear what y'all have to say on this. So let me know, sound it off in the comments. And if you don't want to sound off, you could just leave me some hearts behind. Also, if you would like to show me some love, you could buy me a cup of coffee. All my information is in the description box below. I'll see you next time. Peace.